Hello everyone, welcome to ChessVisor, your wise choice to improve at chess. In today's video, I am going to show you the top 10 aggressive or the attacking chess openings. So please watch this video till the end and let me know what is your favorite opening in the comment section below. And before we continue this video, I would like to thank everyone for your support because our channel has reached 1000 subscribers mark. So please keep supporting as usual. So without any further delay, let's get started. So number 10 we have Deutz Gambit in our list. And it's my all-time favorite of all openings which I used to play in the fast games. Because most of the players will not be knowing how to react for this gambit. So let me show you the sample line for this one. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop to c4, Italian opening. After this, black has two responses. One is to continue with the bishop to c5, going for the Gioco piano style. And after this, white castles and black plays knight f6. And this position can be reached by transposition also. So we will talk about more about this in a separate video. So after knight f6, white should play pawn to d4, hitting everything in the center. Here black can go wrong immediately by capturing with the pawn. From here onwards, black should be very careful. We can simply push forward with the e5, asking the knight where you want to go. So after knight to g4, since the knight is undefended, we can simply sacrifice our bishop on f7. So after king captures the bishop, we can give this knight g5 check and win back the material. So please try this Deutz Gambit. There are a lot of videos in YouTube, and I will also post one separate tricks and traps in Deutz Gambit alone. So let us go to the next one. Number 9, we have Morra Gambit on our list. So it is one of the best attacking ideas from the opening phase of the game. So let me show you on the board. So e4, c5, the Sicilian defense. White should play d4, hitting the center. Black will capture this pawn. And here white should not recapture the pawn with his queen. Instead, white is going to offer another pawn on c3. So after black captures this pawn, now it is called Morra Gambit. So white will recapture the pawn with his knight now. As you can see that white has given up a pawn to accelerate his development. On the other hand, if you look at black's position, black is having one extra pawn, but he did not develop any pieces so far. And I think it will be very difficult for black to equalize this game from the opening. It's such a sharp opening idea that even grandmasters are lost in many occasions. So please try this in your own games. Number 8, we have our favorite Budapest Gambit. So let's check this from black's perspective. So d4 queen's pawn opening, knight f6 the universal reply. I used to tell that knight f6 is the universal reply in all my videos. Meaning is that you can play many openings by opting knight f6 as the first move. You can simply transpose into any kind of opening. So that's why I used to call knight f6 as the universal reply. So c4, as usual, the establishing the pawn duo in the center. Here we are going to sacrifice our e pawn, so e5, d takes e5. Here black will try to recover the pawn with knight to g4. And I'm going to show you one trap line in this gambit idea. So white can develop knight f3, adding the defender. Black can also develop his knight on c6, trying to recover the pawn. Here white can play bishop f4, defending once again. Before we increase our attacker on the pawn, we should give this check. So bishop to b4 check. After knight b d2, black should play queen e7, attacking the pawn for the third time. And here most of the black players is definitely going to question your bishop with a3. You can simply ignore the threat on the bishop and capture your pawn with the g knight. If white is greedy, definitely he will go after your bishop. Then you can deliver this beautiful smothered checkmate. So I have shown you the trap line, but even after the best moves by white, black can have a better development for the pawn he gave up on in the opening as a gambit. Okay, so number 7, we have a Danish Gambit on our list. So white opens the game with e4, black goes for the king's pawn opening e5. Uh, Similar to Smith-Morra Gambit, white is going to give up pawns in the center, so like this. But when black greedily captures the second pawn, we are not going to capture back with the knight. Rather, we are going to play bishop to c4, offering another pawn on b2. If black is what do you say, black is more angry, definitely he is going to capture the b2 pawn as well. But after bishop takes b2, if you look at this position carefully, white lost 2 pawns, but in return he managed to develop 2 bishops, and that too eyeing the king side for the attack. And the queen can also form the battery by playing queen b3. And the other hand, if you look at the black's position, black has 2 extra pawns, but I bet he is not going to survive longer for this attack. So definitely you can try this gambit in your games. Number 6, we have Cochrane Gambit. Here white goes for the king's pawn opening e4. Black again goes for king's pawn opening e5. Knight f3 developing move, and after knight f6 it is Petrov's defense. And black is trying to simply neutralize the game, so that's why he is playing knight f6. Here white will capture the pawn, so knight takes e4, sorry, knight takes e5. After d6, attacking the knight, it is going to drop back to our home square f3. And then black will capture the pawn and the Petrov theory will continue. But after knight takes e5, when black plays d6, we are not going to drop the knight back to f3, but we are going to simply sacrifice our knight on f7, forcing the king to recapture, and this is called Cochrane Gambit. With this idea, white gambits the whole knight for 2 pawn and for a uncastled king for the entire game. But please play this gambit with extreme caution, because black may consolidate everything. He may artificially castle the king, and he will consolidate everything. Most of the times white will land up in some problem. So before that, if you can attack black king, then you will have a upper hand in the opening itself. Okay, so before continue our remaining openings, if you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon for the instant notifications for the future videos. And if you are interested in learning the chess tricks and traps, please check the I button above and description for the previous videos from the channel. Number 5, we have the famous Scotch Gambit. The game starts with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. Here, instead of the classical bishop to c4 or bishop to b5, we are going to play the pawn to d4. That is called a Scotch game. Here black will capture the pawn and then white will recapture with his knight. That is Scotch theory. But instead of capturing the pawn with our knight, we are going to play bishop to c4, accelerating the white's development. And this is called Scotch Gambit. In a deep line in the Scotch Gambit, there is one more gambit called Goring Gambit. We will discuss more about this in separate video on Scotch Gambit. Number 4, we have the Romantic King's Gambit. So game starts with e4, e5, and then white goes for the King's Gambit with pawn to f4. With this move, white immediately challenges the black center. Black accepts the gambit. After that, white plays knight f3, looking forward to set up the dual pawns in the center. I think most of the players will try to hold on to their extra material as always. So black will play pawn to g5. It's very logical move also. And here we have multiple gambiting idea subdivided under King's Gambit. So we will be checking the famous Museo Gambit today. So with the bishop to c4, black will play g4, attacking the knight, but white is going to completely ignore the threat on the knight and he is going to castle the king side. Obviously black will accept this knight for free, and then queen recaptures and form the strong battery along the f5. And please take note of that c4 bishop, it is also ready to join the show. On the other hand, if you look at the black's position, black has extra material but he did not develop even a single piece, and he does not have the center control, which is the most important thing in any chess opening. So I am recommending this opening for all the attacking players, so please try it out. So number 3, we have a Halloween Gambit. This gambit will arise out of the 4 knights opening. So white starts the game with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6. We have 4 knights game. But here after knight f6, white is going to capture the e5 pawn, sacrificing the whole knight, and that is called Halloween Gambit. After black's response knight takes e5, we are going to play pawn to d4 to establish the strong pawn duo in the center. And not only that, uh, we are kicking this knight around. So let's say I'm going to show you the sample line in this. Let's say this knight is going back to c6. We can simply push forward with the d5 again. After knight goes to e5, we can set up the third pawn with a f4 and kicking the knight again and again. So then finally the knight goes to knight g6. I think it is another most aggressive option for white player, and black should be very careful here. I think it's very risky for both players, but it's worth to try in faster games. Number 2, we have the Latvian Gambit for the black side. So Latvian Gambit is the reversed version of the King's Gambit from the black's perspective. So let's start the game. Pawn to e4, pawn to e5, knight f3, and here black goes f5, undermining the white center, like in the King's Gambit. And most of the players will not know how to react for this if they are seeing for the first time. Definitely you can try this gambit. It is also one of the attacking or the aggressive option to play from the black's perspective. The next and the number 1, we have another famous opening in our list, that is called fried liver attack. And I would say this is one of the best aggressive and attacking opening which everyone should try. So white starts the game with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop to c4, the Italian opening. After knight f6, the 2 knights defense. White has many responses, but we are going to play the aggressive idea of knight to g5, which is aiming the weakest spot in the black's camp, and possibly to fork queen and the rook. So black stops this idea by playing pawn to d5, and white captures the pawn and attacks the c6 knight, and also gains one valuable tempo. Here the theory is continue. There are a lot of theory from this position onwards, but I'm going to show you only one move, that is when black plays knight takes d5. From here white can simply start the fried liver attack with knight takes f7. I think this is again the most attacking idea straight out of the opening. So please try all these ideas in your games. So thanks very much for watching this video till the end, and let me know what is your favorite opening in the comment section below. I am planning to cover the tricks and traps for each opening, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel ChessWiser, your wise choice to improve chess, and press the bell icon for the future videos. If you are interested in some chess tricks and traps, then check my suggestion which is on your screen right now.